everyone, this is Mayor Robert Garcia, and I just want to welcome everyone. Like all of you, I'm a huge supporter of Planned Parenthood, and we have an election of a lifetime. Like all of you, we have to ensure that we mobilize the vote. So many important issues in front of us, especially the presidential election. We are and have some amazing people with us that are going to be on this panel today. We have Gilda Gonzales, the CEO of Planned Parenthood from the Northern California Action Fund. We have Nathalie Rayes, of course, who is with Latino Victory and just an amazing national leader within our community. And we have my good friend, Ricardo, Lara, who is, of course, our insurance commissioner here in California, but also heads up NALEO for us all across the country, really represents all the elected and appointed officials. And so we have this great group of amazing progressive voices, and they're going to have a great conversation. Before I turn it over, I want to also just add that this is a really critical moment for us, not just as it relates to voting, but as it relates to health. We have the ability to improve the health of our community. We are in a COVID crisis. Many of us have lost family members, including myself, in this crisis. And so it's important for us to vote and to take the threat in front of us, particularly as Latinos, as members of the Latinx community, incredibly seriously. We have to turn out this vote. It's more critical than ever before. I'm going to begin by turning this over to Gilda, who of course is a amazing advocate and leader within our community. And I want to thank the other panelists and most importantly, Planned Parenthood, for always understanding that we have to support healthcare for women, access to rights for women to have control over their own bodies, and really anyone within our community. They do amazing work. So let me turn it over, and it's going to be just an amazing panel.
Thank you, Mayor. We really appreciate your support and thank you for the warm welcome. Last week concluded Latinx Heritage Month, 4 weeks dedicated to honoring the contributions of Latinx Americans. While there is a lot to celebrate, we know our community still faces many challenges. Today, 1 in 5 Americans are Latinx, and yet we are still fighting for equity and visibility. There are clear gaps in income, home ownership, and access to healthcare. Added to that, the COVID-19 pandemic hit our community hard. Our people are overrepresented among essential workers, and we make up almost 1/3 of all COVID cases and have lost jobs at a rate higher than any other group. Now, as we head into the election, Latinx voters will make up the 2nd largest voting bloc in the nation. There is so much on the line for our community this election. Personally, I couldn't wait to turn 18 to start voting, which I did. I attribute this to my parents, Genovevo and Delia Gonzales, who consistently voted, with my mom serving as a poll worker for multiple elections. From a very early age, I could see and feel the systemic racism and disparities. Early on, I could see how being politically active and voting gave me a way to activate the change I wanted for my community and this country. And I also wanted my actions to generate more justice and equality for Chicanas and Latinas and all women. So voting and being active were the clear ways to make this happen. So now I'm interested in hearing from our other panelists and how you two are feeling about the election and what's top of mind. And let's start with first, Nathalie, to tell us what do you think is at stake for this election?
Oh my God, Gilda. Well, thanks for inspiring us and for that kind of introduction. You know, I think everything, simply one word, everything's at stake in this election. Everything's on the line. We are fighting, as a lot of us know, to save our democracy. Everything we hold dear is at stake. Everything. Our families' well-being, our planet, our economic security, civil rights, voting rights, access to sexual reproductive care, our very own lives. That's what we're fighting for in this election cycle. Make no mistake, this is the most important election of our lives, And please, 19 days away, from November 3rd. Early voting has started in many states, and we need to have a plan to vote. Take 5 friends with you, because if we want access to good jobs, building a robust economy, access to affordable healthcare, education, immigration, climate change, and just sexual reproductive rights in general, just to save the basic things that we hold dear to our hearts, voting is the way. There'll be long lines, bring a chair. Might be cold, bring a coat. You might be there for hours, bring your lunch with you. What I'm asking, and we're all asking, is have a plan to vote. Be ready to stand in long lines. If you can vote early, please do. But everything is at stake this election.
Agree. Commissioner Lara?
Thank you, Gilda. It's great to be here with you and Nathalie, dear friends of mine. Nathalie is absolutely right. Everything's at stake. But I want to, also talk about the issues that are critical for us moving forward as a country, as a democracy, as a world leader. As California's insurance commissioner, I oversee the largest insurance market in the country, 4th in the world. I oversee the largest consumer protection agency in the country. And what does that mean? And what is being threatened by this administration? Access to healthcare. Access to health insurance for Americans is paramount to getting us out of this pandemic. And I see it every day as people cannot pay their premiums for their health insurance, losing their health insurance coverage as they lose their job during a pandemic, which is completely out of control. There is no national strategy. And so during a moment in our time where we actually need and rely on access to Planned Parenthood, access to critical healthcare services, people are losing it because there's no strategy and because the Affordable Care Act is under attack. And as you said it, Gilda, Latinos and African Americans are disproportionately affected. Expanding the HCA is a must and should not be attacked during this time or any time. And quite frankly, the United States of America has finally realized who essential workers are. Yes, there are healthcare workers. Yes, they play a pivotal role, but the workers that are keeping our fragile economy going are our farm workers, our warehouse workers, our delivery drivers. These are all essential workers now, something that we already knew because those are our parents. And they play an essential part of our economy who are now being threatened because they're falling ill to COVID and they don't have the luxury of staying home like we are, staying in our home and advocating. And so the other thing key for me is the environment. In a changing climate and extreme heat is contributing to this catastrophic wildfires in the western part of our country. More than half of the damages that we're seeing and the devastation, more than half of that is underinsured or not insured at all. How are Americans going to rebuild in such dire circumstances? We need a president that understands that climate change is real and that the insurance industry must play a role in combating climate change. Robert, my good friend, mayor of Long Beach, introduced me as the NALEO president. I'm proud to serve that nonprofit, bipartisan organization. But as NALEO president, representing all the Latino electeds across this country, our mission is clear. We provide national leadership in key issues that affect Latino participation in our political process, including immigration, access to naturalization, voting rights, election reform, the census, all these issues that, in my individual opinion, are at risk in this current administration. And that's why it is important that we get out, vote, and participate, and make sure that we hold a new administration accountable that looks like us, that speaks like us, that is going to be able to meet the needs of our Latino community and Latinx community so that we can also continue to be engaged. And, I'm proud to be here and join in this important fight of a lifetime.
I appreciate both of you. So we have a few minutes left. Can you both share something that you're hopeful for? So let's start with you, Commissioner Lara.
You know, I go back to my mom, as you did, Gilda. You know, my mom always says, no hay mal que por bien no venga. And so I'm channeling Dolores Lara's words every day, no matter how difficult it gets. We need to push forward because, you know, California, we've lived through this already in the 90s. We were the most anti-immigrant. We were one of the most hateful states, you know, back in the day with all these propositions that, you know, took away all these rights. And look at where we're at now, right? And so the pendulum will swing back. We will once again be environmental leaders in this country. We will continue to protect the woman's right to choose. We are going to expand healthcare for immigrants like we are doing now in California, and the sky hasn't fallen. And so we're going to get to a better place because we have no choice. We're already, ya estamos abajo. No, solo queda subir y avanzar, and we're going to do it together. And this is why, you know, we're gonna get through this and we're going to win.
Okay, I want to say amen to that.
Amen, Gilda. Amen to that, Ricardo. You're always so thoughtful and inspiring us every day. When it gets bad, Ricardo's always there to say there's a better day in the future. And I am very hopeful, Gilda. I am hopeful because at Latino Victory, we've endorsed over 86 candidates, progressive Latinos, all across the country, from local to state to the federal government. And so our country is going to look very different come November 3rd, with progressive people at the helm who are going to change our policies and say, ya basta, ya basta. And so we've hit a low point in our country, in our democracy, in our civil liberties. And November 3rd, November 4th will be a wonderful day where we see Latinos and the top of the ticket with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris bringing it home. So I'm thankful and I'm grateful and I'm so hopeful for 19 days away from today.
Well, thank you both for taking the time to be here with us and all that you do to support Latinx people and all communities. And to our voters, everything is at stake in this election, from reproductive rights, immigration policies, to addressing racial and economic disparities. There is no question that our community has the numbers and the people power to truly impact the outcome of this election. We get to decide who our leaders are. We get to decide our future. Please make sure you get out and vote this election. Thank you, and have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.